Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Football Friday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motion, RestoredMotions.com, and ProChargeEV.com. All right, hope your Friday's off to a great start, everybody. If you were watching along on Thursday Night Football last night, Bears, Commanders, over 44 and a half. Ding, ding. If you're playing along at home, appreciate y'all. Couple games tonight, couple Power 5 games tonight. Got a Big 12 and a Big 10 game tonight, as a matter of fact. So we got Okie State, Kansas State tonight, and we got Illinois, Nebraska tonight. So a couple of Power 5 football games to go along with your Friday night lights. And big one tomorrow, y'all. So LSU at Mizzou, ranked matchup. Number 21 Mizzou, number 23 LSU. See there in the description, Brian Kelly told reporters on Friday, Deuce Chestnut not with the team. A decision about his future will be made in the coming weeks. So not great there. Another miss, not surprising. I mean, I think we all knew that after the first week that Deuce kind of couldn't roll. But it begs the question, what did you think you saw in the recruiting process when you went and got him out of the portal from Syracuse? You had a guy that started every game during his time at Syracuse, started 24 games, 12 each season. So you had a guy that played a lot, was, an all-ACC cornerback, and you bring him in, and unfortunately just 5'10", 205, probably runs about a 4'8", can't roll with the best receivers in the country, man. So we'll see what that means. But, the thing, if you were here on Monday, the thing that I kind of lobbied for, and this isn't just, I'm not saying like, well, I'm lobbying for this. You should, it's I think what most of us feel is what I'm saying. Is you got to play the young guys. You go into the high school ranks and you recruit these 4- and 5-star guys, these top 100, top 150 national guys, because athletically they're good enough, right? What you don't know is when you're a super athlete and you're playing against a bunch of high schoolers, when you step up in that level of competition, what does it look like when you're going against someone who's physically your equal? That's a much tougher transition for linemen. If you're, for example, which what makes Will Campbell and Emory Jones last year so amazing is, when you're 6'5", 310, and you're going against high school defensive ends that are 5'11", 195, you're going to overmatch them. Well, you get into college, and all of a sudden now you're going against college defensive ends that look like Savion Jones, and it plays a little different, right? You're going against Dallas Turner, it's a little different. Will Anderson, it's a little different. So, but some of the skill positions, you should be able to transition more easily. If you physically can flip your hips and run, you can play corner. So that's why I look at LaTerrence Welch and Ashton Stamps and think, I got to see more of those guys. Ryan Yates at safety. Those dudes, we got to see more of them. So, they're going to take their lumps. They're going to have missed assignments. They're going to get beat. But you hope that they keep getting better and better and better with every game and every rep, because their ceiling is much higher, because athletically they're that much better. So you played the less talented, experienced guys and you didn't have great results. So give me more of the talented, inexperienced guys and get them the experience. So, okay, let's say some good mornings. See what y'all got, as always. If you're on YouTube, please smash that like button and subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, please like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Trivia Carter, good morning. Jeff Hawk, good morning, my dude. Hope you're doing well. Lowell Cormier, Brett DeGros. Good morning from Como. Okay, Brett, made that trip. Christian, top of the morning. Tiger Diver, Gorilla. Donovan Peterson. Rebecca Clare, good morning. Nick Newbill. Let's see. Gorilla said, boy, Matt BK dodged the Womack question, didn't he? How so? I mean, on Monday, he was asked point blank, is Deshaun Womack available? And he said yes. So he didn't dodge it. He answered it point blank. He answered the question that was asked. And then yesterday, he was asked about the defensive line rotation. And he went through the 8 guys that they're counting on. He said Jefferson Guillory, Wingo Smith, Savion Jones, Ovia Gofu, Braden Swinson, Parashand, and then he was like, and Deshaun Womack, and he kind of threw him in there as well, which kind of tells you, like, I don't think Deshaun Womack is part of the rotation, but I think he's going to be a situational pass rush specialist. I think, like you saw him against Arkansas, there's going to be certain games where, and I think this is one of them, by the way, where it's going to make more sense for him to play. Here's what I mean. Jackson Dart last week was a threat to run, obviously, and Lane's misdirection could cause and did cause a lot of problem for LSU as far as being gap sound and your discipline defensively, stay in your lanes, all that stuff. Brady Cook from Missouri is more of a sitting duck. He can run, but he hurt his knee a few weeks back, and so he hasn't been as mobile. Let me show you, not tell you. So my point being that you get into obvious passing situations and you need a really athletic guy to go bend the edge. Deshaun Womack makes a lot of sense, like he did in the Arkansas game with KJ Jefferson, where you were going to need to pressure that dude. So, all right, here you go, Brady Cook. So Brady Cook on the season. So last year, here's your for instance, okay? So last year, Brady Cook had 139 rushing attempts for 585 yards and 6 rushing touchdowns, along with 40, okay? Averaged 4.2 yards a carry. This year, 35 rushes for 37 yards. It's just not the same. He's, again, battling a knee injury. They're not running him as much. I mean, that is not sack adjusted, so the sack numbers are counting against his rushing total, but his sack numbers last year were counted against that rushing total when he averaged better than 4 yards a carry with the sack numbers included. So just as a for instance, so Brady Cook is not really running the ball. Last week against Vanderbilt, 6 for 6 yards with a long of 3. So when you have a quarterback that's not really a running threat, whereas the last 2 weeks with Jackson Dart and KJ Jefferson, Brady Cook, or those guys are more of a running threat. Brady Cook is not. This may be a game where you can look at Deshaun Womack and go, yep, in passing situations, obvious passing situations, we're going to put you on the edge and say, go get him. Kelly Gross, good morning. Eric Hart, good morning. Eric Hart said, I've avoided all the sports, radio, and local shows because of how bad the local teams did last week, and I'm now ready to move on and get back on the saddle. Eric, I also want to offer you congratulations. So I saw Eric won a vintage neon sign from our friends over at Mockler. So Mockler's doing a really cool thing. If you're not following them on social media, you should. They're giving away a lot of they have these vintage neon bar signs. So and they're doing it via their social. So they gave away a Spud McKenzie, the old school Bud, the dog mascot Spud McKenzie. So they had a neon sign of that. Eric's, the one that he won, was the lizard, the Budweiser lizard. So anyway, Congrats on that. Very cool. I'm a little jealous, not going to lie. I did ask my Mockler friends to help us out with maybe like an AFR neon sign for when we get our new studio. And they're going to help. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, very cool, man. That's a cool win. Brant Roban, morning Scone, headed to Outer Banks, North Carolina today till next Saturday with Jamie's side of the family. Hope the Tigers and Saints help me stay relaxed for this trip. Good on you, bro. I hope so too. Greg Duga, morning Matt Basketball School. Noted, Greg. Noted. Jason Horn, Nicholas Alexander, Matt, you're the best. Love the show. Thank you, Nicholas. Very kind of you. I appreciate that. Craig cracked open an ECBP C923 last night. I don't know that I've had a bad Elijah Craig barrel proof. They're all awesome, and if I ever see one, I buy it. Dale Broussard, good morning from Orange Beach. Okay, dude, how's the beach in October? Bubba Tatum, good morning. Headed to Universal Studios for the weekend to celebrate the little ladies and my birthday. Okay. Hope everyone has a great day. Same to you, Bubba. Safe travels, man. Renee Marks, good morning. Let's see, Brant. When he was healthy, was Omar a disappointment so far this season? When will he be back? So he was back last week. He played against Ole Miss. He started against Ole Miss. But Brian Kelly did say on Thursday Omar Speights is doubtful for this weekend. So, or I'm sorry, say questionable for this weekend. So we'll see if he's good to go. Was he disappointing? No. Maybe this is just semantics. Could he have been better? Yes. Was he still a good option for you? Yes. Mark Allen, what's up, side piece? No. I'm not the side piece. Jake is my side piece. Jake Crane, J-Boy, by the way, is what I think he's referring to. On Tuesday, on the show this week, we have Sean Salisbury every Tuesday, and like literally 10 minutes before Sean was supposed to come on, he texted me. He's like, hey man, I'm stuck in this meeting. I cannot wiggle free. I'm so sorry. So, and that's 2 segments. So, I mean, that's roughly 30 minutes of the show that I had allocated and didn't have anything planned for. So I was kind of in a little bit of a bind, and I was like, I just shot Jake Crane a text. I was like, hey man, could you come on the radio with me right now? Just chop it up a little bit. He's like, I'll be your side piece. So it was funny. Loved it. He's great. Jeff McKithen, Bubba Smith, Josh DeVilliers, good morning. How do you feel about the DB coach? Does Brian Kelly look elsewhere, or are the players just young? I don't think, Josh, there's any doubt. Like, I don't know how you can look at LSU's defensive backfield the last 2 years. Excuse me. And, excuse me, sorry. And be okay with what you've seen. I mean, there are going to be changes on this defensive staff. Again, I'm not a fire the coach guy. I'm not saying run them all out of town. I'm just saying, like, you can't be this bad and not make changes. So you can't be this bad and keep the status quo. So they're going to make changes. Earlier this week, like on Monday, I think even on Whiskey and Wine, I even said Saturday, for the first time, I think as loudly as I did anyway, that not retaining Corey Raymond was clearly Brian Kelly's biggest mistake. And maybe had a few people reach out that perhaps there could be a possibility of a reunion there. So knock on wood, fingers crossed, the job's not open, number one, right now. Number two, even if it were, I didn't guarantee Brian Kelly would hire him. He's employed in Florida right now. But suffice to say that I believe, based on some convos, that Corey Raymond would come back. Again, lot of dominoes need to fall before that could happen. But the most important one is, would he even be open to it? And I think the answer is he would be. So file that away. Just file that away. Josh, your coffee, dark or medium roast go-to flavor? I'm not a picky coffee guy, Josh. I think this is just Community's breakfast blend, K-Cup that we do in the Keurig. So I'm just not a real picky coffee guy. And I do drink it black, so. All right. Let's see, Bailey, how would you feel about 8-4? Feels really disappointing, but at least we get to watch JD. 8-4 would be massively disappointing, considering you were preseason top 5 and we were talking playoff. If you go 8-4 and end up in the Texas Bowl, that is a massive disappointment. Christian, heard Coach Pete was blown away with the lack of technique and coaching the D-line has gotten to this point. I haven't talked to Coach Pete, by the way, since what day was that? Since Monday. We texted on Monday. I've not talked to him, so I don't know. I don't know from him how the week has gone. I haven't asked him. I do look, though, at what's happened with the D-line, and I know we've gone over this, y'all, but since spring, when Jamar Cain left in the middle of spring for Denver, you went Cain, Chapman, Jimmy Lindsey, John Jancic, and now Pete Jenkins working with him as well. That's 5 different voices. 5 voices since the middle of spring. I mean, that was a lot. I mean, can you, if you had a different defensive line coach every year and you stayed for 5 seasons, that would be 5, and that would feel like a lot. That's 5 since spring. I mean, that's 5 in 5 months almost. Let's see. Tufel Hunden, Missouri's going to beat our behinds tomorrow. I disagree. I think LSU wins and covers. 37-30. I think LSU wins and covers. And I never bet LSU. I never bet LSU games. I'm not saying I never bet on LSU games at all. And I probably won't bet this one, but I think they win and cover tomorrow. Eric Waterrider, given all the misses in the portal and constant changes to lineups, I think Baskerville and Perkins not originally starting last year, weeks this year. Do we have a massive evaluation problem? No, Eric, let me put you this way. So first of all, there was a lot going on with Baskerville last year. Kind of had to earn his way back. That's number one. And number two, specifically with Perkins last year, remember, you had B.J. Ojolari as your jack linebacker last year. Like, you were going to take B.J. off the field to play Harold Perkins? Like, they had to get really creative with how they schemed things to get Perkins on the field, and they still at times, other teams schemed and still scheme Perkins out of the box and into coverage, and so that was just a different challenge. The other thing is, you got to remember, like, what they inherited. It's very different when you go into a season and you return 9 starters on both sides of the ball. Why have you not had any issues offensively this year? Because you returned everybody. Look at what you lost defensively from a year ago. I mean, you lose Jaquelin Roy, you lose Baskerville. Mike Jones was a contributor, but you lose Ali Gay, B.J. Ojolari, Jarpernard Converse, Mekhi Gardner, Joe Fouché, Jay Ward. I mean, So all the guys that were your best defensive players were all gone. And so you're replacing them all, and you can only find out so much through spring practice and fall camp. I mean, until they go out there and play, you're just never really going to know who can bring it from the practice field to the game field. So, no, I don't think it's a massive evaluation problem. I think you've had massive turnover the last 2 years, and you just kind of have to build the bridge as you cross it. So what you hope is, as they continue recruiting, you continue to develop stability within the program, where, as I've said, you build through the high school ranks and you supplement in the portal, whereas maybe you have 9 returning starters and the 2 guys you're replacing, you replace them with dudes in the portal that are dudes. You know they're dudes. Let's see, who is to say? Let's see, another miss by the Saints is letting Roddy go? Roby. Would have to put Taylor outside with the Debo hurt, Roby at the nickel. No, I disagree, man. I think Alante Taylor's played really well. Yadam has played really well on the outside as well. I mean, you got younger. I mean, was Roby a more experienced player? Sure. He was also more expensive. So, I think that's one of those things where you look at it and you say, okay, what's the gap between these 2 players? And if you feel like the gap is close, but the pay is this, well, then you take the younger, less expensive player with higher upside and longer term, viability. So I'm actually okay. I'm okay with their decision to let Roby go. Jesse Brown, Matt Plavidal, good morning. Bradley and Graffy, Larry Gardner. Let's see, go Rilla. I'd love for our safeties to not be the top tacklers this game. Sometimes that does depend, though, on who you're playing and what the offense is. So, for example, if Major Burns is not good in coverage. Okay, Major Burns is a liability in coverage, but he's a good box safety, which means he's aggressive, he's physical, he's downhill, and he can help in the run. I'm okay with that, right? Andre Sam being your leading tackler, that's a problem. Andre Sam with 14 tackles tells you, like, when your free safety is back there making 14 tackles, that means you got a lot of dudes running free in the secondary. I agree with you on that. Bradlin M. Anderson, Senior. Matt, is the SEC really that much better where an all-conference guy comes here and isn't good at all? So you're talking about Chestnut. That's a good question. I definitely think there's part of it. The other thing, I mean, this is a little bit of a caveat, and I'm guilty of it too. We keep saying all conference. Chestnut was, I think he was like honorable mention. So he was a freshman All-American, ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year, 2-time All-ACC. Let's see. So last year he was honorable mention All-ACC. And as a freshman, he was 3rd team All-ACC. So, but he was a freshman All-American. He started all 24 games at Syracuse. So the dude played a ton, but maybe he's out of shape. I don't know. I mean, I heard that from back in spring, that they need to get him in better shape. But Christian, I hate that they rotate cornerbacks. It's the worst position to take in and out of a game. I haven't figured out a logical reason for that yet. Lots of teams rotate cornerbacks. Sometimes it's just to get a fresh legs, fresh body in the game. And specifically with LSU, I think it's because you have dudes that keep giving up plays. So it's like, put someone else out there who can cover. If the other guy's not covering or tackling, you put someone else out there. Brandon Tilley, Ryan Slayton, good morning. D-line will be better with Pete Jenkins on the sideline tomorrow. You know what I don't know, Ryan? I don't know if Pete is traveling. I don't know if Coach Pete is like going to be, if he's just going to be kind of in the facility, and or if he's actually traveling with. I don't know the answer. I need to ask him if he's. Ray Langlois, good morning. Looking forward to seeing the New Look Tigers this weekend. Joey Vincent, Greg T, LSU line has moved all the way down to 4. You called that. Well, yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a sharp, I'm not a savant, but sometimes you can obviously look at a line and understand what the odds makers are doing. And that line was set to induce a lot of Missouri money, which is what's going to happen. So it's come down from 6.5 all the way to 4. So you've just had a ton of who's the guy earlier who was like, LSU is going to go get their behind whip tomorrow? Like, everyone is looking at LSU coming off of a week where the defense played the way it did. And now you got to go on the road to Missouri, which is ranked and 5-0 and sellout crowd and people are pumped and all this stuff. You're like, oh man, Missouri's getting 6.5. So people are just dumping money on Missouri. I'm telling you, bro, like, that is a stinky line. Vegas, like, odds makers know what they're doing. They were trying to induce casual bettors to throw a ton of money on Missouri, which clearly they did. And that line is down 2.5 points. Return. I would have laid 6.5 with LSU. Like, if I bet LSU games, which I don't, I would have laid 6.5 with LSU in this game. It's down to 4. Strong side, Ryan Slayton, Bud Wise. But I think the one that Erica was the Lizard. Leo the Lizard. Is that what it was? Louis the Lizard. That's it. Louis the Lizard. Yeah. Louis the Lizard. Because they had the Budweiser Frogs, and then they had Louis the Lizard. Let's see. Couple more. If you would, please smash that like button. What time is it? 7:58. Okay. Smash that like button. Subscribe up to the channel if you're new. Thanks so much for being here with us. Oh, by the way, I have the HUDCO Google review link pinned again. I've asked y'all a couple times the past few weeks. If you wouldn't mind, just take a quick second, click that link, leave a 5-star review. I'd appreciate it greatly. Bradley, 1-year anniversary this weekend. LSU Saints win. Me and my wife will be cheering them on. There you go, Bradley. Happy anniversary, man. Hope you all have a great weekend. Although getting married during football season. To each their own, I suppose. You just can't be mad if people don't show up to your wedding. Or if they show up to your wedding looking at their phones, watching games the whole time. Abner Neal, good morning. Cajun Country, good morning. How's Drew's food therapy going? Doing good, man. He's doing good. Thank you so much, man. We're onward and upward. Long journey, but he's a trooper, man. David Bass, what's up? I feel like LSU can still make some noise. Yeah. Look, man, LSU is capable of beating any team on their schedule. They're also capable of losing any of their remaining SEC games. So, I mean, generally, I look at that and I split the difference, and I'm like, they probably got 2 more losses. I think they lose to Bama and then probably A&M or Florida, I would think. So, I mean, if I had to bet everything today, I'd say that they finish 8-4, which would be just so disappointing. But Brian Wynn, Ransom Antoine, Cozy Cotters, good morning. Barry Jocelyn, let's shut down Mizzou by 30. It's totally possible. Wendell Norman, Bailey C, what's going on? All right, y'all, it's 8 o'clock. I gotta go. Sorry, I mean, there's a bunch of comments. I'm just scrolling really quickly to see if there's anything. Where are we? Bradley said I tried to tell my wife that, but she wanted an October wedding. Bradley, sometimes put your foot down, man, because you set the tone and tenor for the rest of your life. Who am I to give that advice? Do what makes you both wonderfully happy for the rest of your lives. Okay, I got to go. Thanks so much for watching. Y'all have an awesome day. LSU Daily is live, AFR 3. We'll see you then. Peace. I'm out of here.